We saw Spectre nerf Spectre ban last game, sorry.
Yep.
Maybe it could be good this game. I feel like both supports really can't deal with Spectre on them, and like Sand King as well. He wants to ult and blink his fight. You can cancel that with your Haunt. And I feel like if your Enigma is gonna get like a Wraith Pact, then she is a hero that typically is able to like stand her ground into like a Bloodseeker if she gets ruptured.
Ooh.
And can still move around fight even if she's ruptured actually.
So just the Bane for now.
Okay.
That puts either, I mean, that means of the other 3 heroes, only one of those first 3 picks is a support. So Tiny, probably core, I would say. I think Tiny's either mid or carry at this point.
I'd be pretty happy to see Tiny on core just because like, with the Blink Rush.
In mid or carry? Do you think mid?
Or mid, yeah. I would prefer mid, personally.
Yeah.
Tiny mid?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's better mid than carry in this patch. I can't tell you why. It's just Fear said it like 800 times at this point, and I'm like, yes, sir, I believe you, sir.
Whatever you say, I agree with 100%.
It did win game 1 as a carry, so I don't know. 100% win rate on carry Tiny.
It's being proven.
I think RSG, they could get either a mid or an offlaner. I would like maybe something BKB piercing that could cancel the black hole. That makes me scared right now that they only can steal it with Rubik.
Yeah.
I got this. They go Sand King mid and then a Beast offlane.
Beast offlane, honestly, slaps. I would actually be really happy with that, like a lot.
Really?
Yeah,
You like what I said?
Yeah, I'd love that skin. I'm not even joking.
Hell yeah, LFG.
Like, Bane typically struggles to deal with Zoo. Beastmaster is really good into that lane. BKB piercing stuff. Yeah, perfect pick. Yep.
Perfect pick. Just pick it up.
Yep.
Run it.
Good job.
Right now.
That's it.
Let's see it.
If they pick anything else, they're throwing.
Yeah. They didn't listen to us. They don't like it.
Hey, there's other zoo heroes. You can bust out the Lycan or something along those lines.
It doesn't have a BKB piercing stun,
God,
guys.
that was the one thing she said needed.
Like, I like Pango. I know Pango's banned, but like I like Pango as well for these types of things because you can buy Basher on him and go and use the Q from range.
Yeah.
But obviously that's gone. Not gonna have that.
Radiant team pick.
That's you know, it's okay. We'll take it. It's fine.
We'll take it.
Yeah, I would love
mid cuddle. Yeah, it's mid cuddle, right?
down. Seems good. Grimstroke,
Yeah.
Sand King super strong, so they're just gonna try and get Blink on Sand King and then pair those two up around the map, run around, just try and kill people.
Unless
remaining.
we get mid Rubik.
Which one do you feel is more likely this patch, though? And the play style that we see?
Definitely mid Rubik.
Yeah,
I'm
with you.
Oh, it's mid Rubik.
You've never been wrong once.
Alright, so the idea of like standing your ground that comes out really hard in Wraith King. He can get ruptured, he doesn't care, he's just gonna come back to life.
He can even run in with it on.
Exactly, it really doesn't matter to him. I think that's an amazing Wraith King pick. I was thinking about it for RSG, but they already had a carry, because obviously like you can just live through Black Hole and grip and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alrighty, good pickup from Polaris. It sounds like you two might be all in for them, but I want to find out where Mike and John sit for this game 3. John, where are you going? Do you like the Wraith King pick? Is it something you think is very good?
I like the I think the Wraith King pick does have a lot of presence here, but RSG's draft plays into their playstyle really well. They've got a lot of aggression now coming through from Shower Use lane, and you have a really strong hero on mid for XLearn to play with, especially up against Lucius mid Tiny. I think he has a lot better time controlling there. It does feel like a lot of RSG's momentum. You know, Shower Use shows off a lot, but when XLearn has a bad game, that's where things feel shaky. I think XLearn has a good game this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the Wraith King was a pretty good pickup, but I think the Rubik pickup's even better. And Bane, it's going to be a very fun game, and yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a close matchup, but I've got RSG for this one.
Ooh, okay, interesting. You guys have already told me then which teams you're sort of somewhat aligning to. So again, I'll ask the same question. Who's going to get first blood?
I don't want to answer that. I think if RSG can like skirmish really well, get their blink timing, and just like fight early hard, they're like probably set to win this game. They have a really good snowball potential here. Polaris though, if it goes late, ooh, I don't see how RSG wins.
First blood.
Yeah, thank you. At least someone will answer me.
No.
I'll go Polaris again. I actually think RSG. I like RSG for game 3.
Okay.
I don't want you're putting words in my mouth. I don't
words
like
in your mouth.
Polaris. Like the Wraith King
I never
pick,
let you guys talk.
I'm okay with the
Polaris,
Wraith King pick, but I think this mid cuddle is just uncountered, and this like when you can just run around blasting everyone, get this fast vessel, the game, it feels really nice for Coddle, so.
All right, well, we're 50-50 here, but as we jump into game 3, we'll really see just how even it is. But Mike, John, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Nat. We do get into game number 3 here between Polaris and RSG. A lot of us thinking that RSG have this one, game 3, in the bag. Though I say that, John, I am expecting a very close matchup here between these two teams. I don't think it's going to be one-sided, though, you know, I've been wrong before. But for today, Jonathan, prediction god Michael Phoenix is here.
Well, I don't know what you predicted in game 2 anymore. Right? I don't think that streak is keeping up, unfortunately.
I predicted first blood would be drawn by Polaris. I was correct. That's 2 in a row. I didn't say which team would win.
Fine. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll count that in, as we do have our classic Southeast Asian pause. So you're stuck with us for a little bit longer, but
beautiful.
I do still agree with your points. You know, it is a fantastic Rubik game here for RSG. I think MKS and Bloodseeker, it's one of his heroes that he is comfy on, so he should know the timings to hit and what he wants to do. There's some pretty nifty combos here with the Grimstroke last pick that you pointed out was really excellent. You loved it when it did come out with the flex on that Kotl mid for Excelern here. I mean, double Rupture is already nice. Double Burst Strike can be good. Double Lift is great. Even double Solar Bind can be really impactful here as well. So all of that on top of your Inkswell combination with the Sand King, it does look pretty potent for RSG in the early to mid game if they can get that quick blink timing here for Xiaoyu. So they have a good launching point for themselves. For the side of Polaris, it goes back to their playstyle, right? They do love giving Xavius these high impact heroes on the 4. Like, by nature, for the past 3 years, Xavius, again, loves his Magnus 4, loves his Shaker 4, and loves his Enigma 4. So we'll see if he manages to get that farm up. You see that. Have fun, luck good. Luck good, says Xiaoyu. Yep.
Well, luck is good, John. You got to give him that. He's not wrong. Fun have. some baby Yodas in the game, apparently.
That we do, Mikey.
Yeah. I've got a bone to pick with you as well, Jonathan, while we're waiting for these bounties to be picked up. Last week, you went to the beach, correct, over the weekend?
Yep.
I told everybody in chat, on Twitter, everywhere. I told them John was at the beach. Yep. You know, he's not going to be here. Please don't ask me where John is.
Yep.
When I was casting, they proceeded to ask where Johnny is about 1 billion times in the Twitch chat. That's all I saw in the Twitch chat. Now, a couple days before that, I had internet issues and Ares had to take over. In fact, hold that thought, because Natsumi's going to run into the Grimstroke. Natsumi, he'll be fine. So I had internet connection issues. Ares jumped in.
Yep.
I was keeping track of the Twitch chat once my internet went back up, John. There was a total of 2 times people asked where Mike was. And upon reviewing that, it was the same person twice, to make matters worse. Nobody even asked, John. What am I doing wrong? I can take a day off and nobody gives a crap. They're just like, yeah, it's all good. John's here.
See, I think they're just used to me cheating on you more. See, it's a sign of fidelity, Mike. They're much more used to me cheating on you than you are cheating on me. So they're used to me being more infidelis than you are. So it's, you know, one of those things, I suppose.
Right. Well, thank you for that, John. Couldn't help but notice as well when I did disconnect and Ares came in, Natty referred to you guys as the goated duo. I heard Natty. Don't you think you got away from me? I heard that line. Goated duo you and Ares were apparently. Won't be forgetting that one. You didn't say a word either, John. You didn't tell me that happened. But I heard.
You know, it fades through my mind, Mike. You think I keep my brain on when I'm talking here? With what I say? It doesn't stay on for too long, Mikey. As we do see the lanes down bot, this is a pretty strong lane, as we mentioned, Xiao Bon. With Xiaoyu, you've got an Inkswell combination. Once you hit probably level 3 is where it feels really good. Level 2 Inkswell threat is going to be nice. Of course, TMV and Natsumi are a fairly durable lane. Not the strongest right now, but eventually you'll just trade with Brain Sap. You always have Nightmare to save. Natsumi will have to watch himself. So I love that Xiaoyu goes for the level 1 caustic melee matchup for Sand King. Means that you can just kind of bully and secure your CS and ensure that the Wraith King kind of has to work hard to get the spacing here to get his own CS up.
Yeah. Seems like a pretty strong lane for both sides. We'll see how this bot lane does break out, but mid lane, Exilern and Leilouche going to be going at it. So the mid Kotl against the mid Tiny. So far, favoring Exilern, that you do kind of expect it to on the Keeper of the Light, because, you know, it's Kotl, John. He got slightly nerfed, but he's still completely busted here on his horse. Does seem like he'll just be able to continue blasting away at this mid wave and eventually going into the neutral camps. Is there anything to keep an eye out on here in this mid lane?
Rune control could be where it gets exciting if Lelouch gets a nice opportunistic rune to play with. Of course, he's also playing with a bottle, which is a bit more important for his mana sustain. Maybe you see a couple of support rotations. Enigma can be nice, you know. Malefice is great, speaking of, up top.
Oh, that's a great Starbreaker. Connecting on two, but MKS, he is still going after Xavius. Roger, he is not going to drop first. They do get Xavius first as Roger's still on the run. MKS trying to run over to help him out as Force. Trying to keep up. Doesn't have any spells to throw out, so he is going to have to back out. And, well, sadly, he doesn't have the brown boots up yet. So no way to get Roger on the Rubik, though. Celestial Hammer does land, but not quite enough damage.
Yeah, and MKS is having a great time up top. This is a lane that Bloodseeker can sustain through. Fairly durable with a Wraith Band start. A little bit more stats to play with, and as long as you keep finding your CS, you're pretty happy here. You can trade happily enough up against Force. This is where it kind of boils down to that greedy forward that Xavius loves to play. The Enigma doesn't contribute too much. Yeah, you can clear out the Demonic Conversion, make some Eidolons happen, you know, deny after range creep, but you don't have too much kill threat. Like, you could try with the Malefice play, Roger, as long as his positioning is right. Telekinesis can kind of break off the follow-through from Force, and you can still feel pretty secure here for MKS. So you always have some form of playing back here for the Bloodseeker. Just need to be able to have your Rubik in a good position, and in comparison to game 2 with a Warlock, Roger is keeping track of that lane much better here.
Absolutely. Only one kill being drawn so far, and that was RSG again. Bottom lane, not too much activity happening. Xiao Yu maybe wanting to go in now onto TMV, but they won't go for the Inkstore Burrow Strike combination. In fact, Xiao Yu doesn't even have the Burrow Strike, so never mind that. Top lane, KS getting plenty of damage off with the Blood Rite onto 2. It's one of those things, like with the Thirst, you do start to speed up quite fast, and it's going to be very hard for Force to be able to catch you in the Starbreaker this game, especially as the Bloodseeker. This time around, well, as I say that, MKS dropping very, very low, and Force is still chasing him down, but is not going to be able to confirm the kill. Xavius, not within range for the Malefice either, so MKS is going to be fine. But my point being, the Bloodseeker should have a much easier time getting away from this the Starbreaker of the Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, it certainly is showing up. You are seeing MKS again just weave in and out, get the farm going. It's starting to lag slightly behind with some of that pressure coming through, and Roger has to also watch his space in here.
Roger's gone. He will drop. Xavius will be chased down here by MKS, who's running very, very fast at the moment, but is lacking quite a bit of damage. Still, now he will go in with the Blood Rage and does secure one. Onto Force he goes, but I highly doubt he can fight the Dawnbreaker, and does not. KS just still able to trade though, and I think in some way it was actually a positive trade to go the way of RSG.
Yeah, solo EXP for MKS, building up in that level 6 timing. You are still sacrificing a lot of that presence. You're not clearing out the creep wave as much as you'd want, giving a little bit of a boost for Natsumi, but the kills do rack up. You do want that snowball start on something like the Bloodseeker. They do manage to at least rotate onto mid with Xavius, getting a bottle top up for Lelouch, trying to be aggressive onto Exilern, but Arcotl still having a great time. Now, mind you, Lelouch has not lagged too far behind. He's gotten a lot of denies under his belt. He's controlled the lane really well. Did have a bit of an earlier 6 in comparison, but this is a point where Exilern just clears out his small camp and really doesn't get contested for it.
Yeah, bot lane, TMV, he's going to end up dropping. Roger does actually end up rotating on the Rubik, so it's something rare from Roger here on the POS 5 roll, but actually rotating down towards the bot lane to set up a kill. Now heading mid lane to try and secure the 6-minute power rune, as Lelouch is going to run right into him. Does not want a bar of the Rubik though. Maybe now though with the Bane support coming in, TMV, he's just there to fill up the bottle. Looks like they have accepted the fact that they are going to lose that 6-minute power rune, and instead it will go the way of Exilern, though he does deny it off. So won't even pick it up.
Yeah, he doesn't really need it. I mean, the double damage in the Kotl would have been good. Just wants to play it safe, not open himself up to a gank. He does manage to get the D-ward as well. So you're feeling great in the Kotl. You're forcing that response onto mid, opening up your side lanes a little bit more for, you know, Xiao Yu and MKS to get that build up. And it's already looking like a strong start for RSG from the lane. It's not a massive lead, mind you. Polaris, again, they're going with a bit of a slower play here. They've got a pause for Enigma. It doesn't do too much once you get past the point of having the kill threat with the Malefice. And Xavius is just kind of farming the triangle. So again, this is what Polaris tend to do. What are pawns for if Xavius just get some farm up, get some solo XP on him, try to buy space, install the game? You do have to watch for that timing from RSG. If they get that blink up quick on Xiaoyu, it could get dicey.
Oh, link in. They are going to go Xiao Bon Bon with the Inkswell. Going to start up this Tiny as even the neutrals are helping out, but Natsumi is going to intervene now as they get Xiao Bon Bon. Still, Exilern coming in now. It does trade with TMB, and this is a dream for MKS. So many low heroes for the Bloodseeker to have his way with. So they'll get one, get two, and now Natsumi. He was ruptured up. Great rupture from MKS to hold down the Wraith King. So they'll get the first life, and they still have plenty of time to get a second. No way out for Natsumi. He will just stand his ground and eventually die. So a double kill can go the way of MKS. Very smart rotation here from the Bloodseeker.
Just see that opportunity to punish that overcommittal onto the triangle and just clear them out. Like, as you mentioned, Bloodseeker loves it when you start to commit too much and you don't manage to really kill off while staying on low HP. You don't have sustain coming in from Polaris all too much. They do have the Solar Guardian up now, didn't have it, or didn't commit it earlier on. So didn't have a great way to counterplay, and it's just unfortunate. They forced the fight, they were right next to the neutral camp. The stuns from the neutral keep helped out, allowed that easy connection on the Inkswell, and just managed to get a lot of value out for RSG. That blink timing we've talked about in Xiaoyu, it's building up really quick here, Mike. Once you've got that up and running in the Sand King, the threats just keep piling on. MKS as well has all the room in the world to just clear out bot himself. No grip threat from TMV, still stuck at level 4 in the Bane. Forced to just sit back and watch. And you also have this pretty free lane for Exilern to just stand back and illuminate. You don't have the highest mobility heroes here from Polaris to jump in and reach out onto that Coddle. He's just basically holding the lane and keeping the farm up as well.
That he is. MKS, though, bot lane is kind of being watched right now by TMV, but they don't have anything to really throw out at him. You haven't got level 6 yet. MKS literally just freely taking this bottom tier 1 tower. The same cannot happen up top because you do have Exilern defending the lane. So MKS, he's just going to keep going. They've left TMV here to try and defend this bot tier 1 tower on his own, and with the rate this is going, you're going to be able to group up mid as RSG and push the mid tier 1 tower because the 10-minute siege creep is going to come in, but a nice rotation out from Force. Realizing it does get to defending that bot tier 1. Because again, John, if they got that tier 1 tower down bot lane, they're rotating mid immediately as a team. And with the 10-minute siege creep, you're losing your mid tier 1 tower. That would have been disastrous for Polaris had they not rotated Force over.
Yeah, they get a nice kill for themselves off the back of it. The patience of TMV does pay off, sets up the Nightmare to get that done. But you are leaving really free lanes elsewhere. So Exilern's still going to be a massive problem. Travel's already up along with the earlier Urn. Our Coddle's presence is building up massively. Already ahead there in the net worth as well. Lelouch still has a decent enough timing lined up here for the blink. Should have it by the 12-minute mark, and that's the point where that mid-tiny threat does appear. You want to play aggressive off the back of it, but again, you're kind of eclipsed by even Xiaoyu on the offlane. Clearing out triangle stacks by himself, already has the blink flying out. Threat of Inkswell Burrow Strike is there. And you still haven't done enough to slow down these cores on RSG. You are buying space for Xavius to play greedier on that Enigma. He does have his level 6 ready with Threat of Black Hole, but we pointed this out in draft, Mike. It's not the easiest game to get a good Black Hole or even a grip off with Roger on the Rubik playing around here. So whether or not that investment here on Xavius even pays off is something that remains to be seen.
Still trying to chip away at that bot tier 1. Again, Force is doing a very good job here on the Dawnbreaker. And well, even if you lose it now, this is much more standard timing. You won't mind it as Polaris. Not really much you can actually do about it anyway. But they are going to TP some more heroes down. You've got Black Hole up, so MKS, he could be in big trouble. They'll try to save along with Roger. He'll actually take the Midnight Pulse away, but now Lelouch shows up, and MKS does get taken down. Polaris really working out how to deal with this bot tier 1 tower. And it will eventually get denied by Xavius anyway.
Great timing in that swing up from Polaris, giving a nice kill over as well onto their end, needing that build up on Lelouch. Doesn't quite get the last hit. There is a smoke out from RSG though. They are eyeing top.
Are you going to try after Natsumi? Reincarnation is going to be available, however. Force, he will come in and save the day anyway. Just doesn't want to lose that first life on Natsumi. Will ensure the Wraith King is just perfectly fine, and of course against Force's Dawnbreaker, it's always going to be hard to get through that initial life anyway. So Natsumi, this time around, back into the jungle. Obviously, it is going to mean Polaris have a bit of a slower time taking the top tier 1 tower off of RSG, but considering the drafts, you're kind of expecting that anyway. Like, you're probably not going to get this top tier 1 anytime soon against the mid-coddle, that's for sure.
They have really good hold for RSG to just clear out the creep wave. Even Xiao Yu can contribute as well with a Sandstorm. So these heroes just have a great way of protecting those tier 1s from that chip damage. RSG, though, I think they're still overall happy. They're matching the pace of Natsumi to an extent. They know Solar Guardian's down. They didn't expect Epicenter out here as well, though.
Yeah, Black Hole was thrown out. Xavier's trying to go for a solo. Oh, Roger's got it. Oh, Roger's got Black Hole. He threw all his spells out. Lelouch at least going to pick him off. It won't matter. Xiao Yu still chasing down the Enigma. Does get one, but now Lelouch is in trouble. They just don't have a stun, though. Xiao Yu had his Burrow Strike on cooldown, so could not secure the kill. Nevertheless, a 1-for-1. Black Hole going to be down for the Enigma for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately for Roger, won't have that for the next fight. They find more, though.
Yeah, never mind that 1-for-1, John. That'll be another. MKS, he'll pick up his 5th kill of the game on the Bloodseeker. It's already off to a very strong start here for RSG.
They're feeling good. So again, not a massive lead from RSG's hand. I think for Polaris, they're still kind of relaxed with having this start out for Natsumi. He does lose his first life from the neutral, playing with the armlet. So yeah, that's
There was a tornado.
Yep, the tornado tried to toggle. True, if RSG are aware, they would go for that play, but I don't think they had vision. So Natsumi should be safe from any gank attempts. Still has to watch himself for a bit, but does have the room to at least play top here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Top tier 1 going to drop. Xavius will take care of it. And Roger seems more than happy to just take the Midnight Pulse. And to be fair, it is a hell of a lot of damage with that Midnight Pulse just being thrown into a team fight as Lelouch gonna move in with a blink up, but Xiao Yu sees him first, does move in. Still, they do have the Solar Guardian, but is it gonna be enough with the Epicenter going through, but the Fiend's Grip gonna hold them down. Roger still going, along with Exilern and Jean Bonbon. They might have another, but Force is gonna TP out. Nice TP away from the Dawnbreaker, but massive losses here for Polaris.
Losing your tiny mid is massive. That's the blink reveal out from Lelouch as well. So RSG is going to be able to adjust and expect that sort of surprise initiation from Polaris. And to get the opportunity to shove in mid. Double damage coming through for MKS. Feeling great in this Bloodseeker. Maelstrom up, BKB next. And probably the Basher afterwards to really feel secure and locking in some of these heroes. They are starting to build that momentum up. For Polaris, it's still a stall game. They're still stalling out for Xavius to build into that Wraith Pack. For the full Desert to come out from Natsumi. And if they bleed too much space out, that's when it gets a bit worrying. And your teamfight control is pretty good with the Grip and the Black Hole, but you are counteracted by a wide range of AoE silences and, of course, the threat of Rubik stealing one of those big spells. So they're kind of just watching themselves when they do get the cast off. But for RSG, they do still need to push that envelope. A 1k lead isn't clear-cut enough. Exilern is #1, but Natsumi's not too far off here.
Oh, they've got Roger. Sort of kill onto the Rubik if they get it, and eventually they will. And trying to get the Celestial Hammer to get himself out. Roger, to be fair, had held the Fiend's Rippers. Well, top lane, they are going to find Xavius anyway. So another kind of trade across the map that does favor RSG. 7-11 is the scoreline here, the way of RSG, as well as they hold a very small net worth lead. I think if you're Polaris, though, and Sheepo did point this out, you get to the late game with this Wraith King, chances are you are just going to start outscaling RSG anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Wraith King to scale. Even the Tiny can scale into the right click, as we've seen from the mid. By the time you get your Shard, you're basically still a core Tiny anyway. You just kind of go for the early blink. And if you can keep stalling and keep that net worth equalized without losing too much map control, you still feel pretty good. RSG, I think the pressure is piling onto them. They need to hit that BKB timing on MKS. They need to keep running around, forcing these pickoffs and look for those openings.
They're going to try into the Wraith King again, but again, the Solar Guardian from Force going to save is now the Fiend's Grip. Holding down Xiao Yu. Find a great pick-off here with the Dawnbreaker, and again, Force. Very, very good on this hero. Just always around at the right moment. As now bot lane, MKS has been caught out. A nice Avalanche toss, but... Oh, Roger. He took the Avalanche away, so they cancel the Black Hole off. Poor old Xavius, he had a great setup, but just not good enough.
Oh.
They still find Roger, though. But here comes MKS. No Rupture to be thrown out. Looks like he will not force the fight. Polaris doing a very good job of punishing RSG, though.
Yeah, punish that overextension from RSG's end. They don't manage to find that turn potential. For RSG, it does feel like they're kind of funneling in a little bit too scattered out. And it's giving openings for Polaris to play with their single target control on that Bane to kind of threaten with the Black Hole and just get the burst damage off with Lelouch. RSG, they're still getting build up. The BKB is still going to come at a good time for MKS. Excelern is going for his Force Staff and his Shard next with a Recall. Maybe at that point you can start to play more aggressive. We do need to see more commitment to kind of stop that farm from Polaris because they still have the triangle. They're still allowed to build up on Natsumi. Xavius is eventually going to hit that rate pack timing, cut off a lot of the damage RSG is doing as well with her burst. And once you have a little bit more durability on Polaris' side, it does feel a bit difficult for RSG to find Yang. Right? Like again, they still have great ways to interrupt those big channeled spells from the supports, but it does take commitment and good positioning from the Rubik, and to an extent your Sand King as well with a burst right kind of cancel off. And they do at least have the Yules up as well on the Sand King, so even if those two supports kind of space themselves out really well, you should still be able to have enough control here. But it does still feel like RSG's playing against quite the timer, because you've got the Bloodseeker in your lineup. Panel pointed it out, she pointed it out, but late game, the Raid King just feels overwhelming, and the Tiny's going to scale up, and then eventually down the line, even Xavius could probably just build into the Lincoln's refresh, and feels good to get a good Black Hole going.
There we go. RSG smoke up as 3 into the mid lane. They want Force. He is on a dominating spree right now, so it's a fair bit of gold if they do catch him. Where's the damage? It's not there yet. Force still running out, but eventually does drop to the Sandstorm of Xiao Yu, but here comes the punishment. Avalanche Toss is enough to kill off Xiao Yu, but MKS gonna rush forward as Lelouch does end up dying on the mid Tiny. As he's trying to TP out, he could not run because of the rupture. And it's still gonna be a great team fight here for RSG. A 3-for-1, and even some pressure being applied into the mid-tier 2 tower.
And that's what we need to see from RSG. Just use that great team fight, use the angles they have with that Sand King Blink, and get the jump on Polaris first. You do not want to be counter-fighting into their team. You have counterplay potential, but you're much stronger starting these fights with the Inkswell Burst right threat, and they get the kills they need. Natsumi's still able to escape, though. You know, he still has the protection of his reincarnation, so he's feeling fine on the Raid King, keeping up with the Kotl's farm at the moment, and is going to hit that timing where he just gets that Blink BKB. With the Deso up, he can rip through your supports. Even the Kotl's very susceptible to that, especially once the BKB's up, with no blinding light to kind of save you there with a mischance. It does feel really good for the Raid King to just rip through one more core. And there is a smoke play out from Polaris. Lelouch again, he's got the Blink, he's got the max out Avalanche Toss. They could look for the burst play here.
MKS, big target, but Jabonbon in the right position to, or maybe not. Smoke is broken. Lelouch makes the jump in as the Solar Guardian is there to follow up, but the Inkswell is going to heal him up as now the Burrow Strike going to catch 2 of them out again. Oh, Xiao Yu, he read them like a book. Just perfect initiation. TP's at the right time. Very rough initiation there from Polaris.
Yeah, it looked like they had the angle, it looked like they had the right target, but you already have the shard up and Xiaobonbon, and that Inkswell Dispel just giving MKS the opportunity to get the blood right off, to heal up a little bit in that engagement, managing to turn the tables around. Fortify forced out for the tier 2 defense. No epicenter to threaten from Xiao Yu, but just a burst strike here with the Inkswell could be enough.
It's a lot of damage just with that Sandstorm. We'll drop the Midnight Pulse, but not going to do too much but force them back as... Well, even Natsumi cancelling his TP off here on the Wraith King. I'm not sure if RSG saw that, but they should know it's a 4v5 scenario now down at the bot lane if they want it. I say that, though, no, it is going to be, as you do see Exilon TP back, so they do want to force the fight. Xiao Yu is in onto the Bane, and that'll be TMB gone. So the rest have to back off, and well, again, without the Wraith King, this will be a decently easy tier 2 bottom tower to take. Natsumi was running his way down, and still is. Polaris, they might smoke and try to force the fight here. Mind you, John, they do have a Wraith packed up now in the Enigma, so there is some more utility from Xavius, but it doesn't seem like they're 100% ready to force a fight here against RSG.
Yeah, it still feels like they're waiting for more build-up, they're waiting for more protection, especially on Natsumi. We haven't seen that much activity from our Raid King. He's just been AFK farming. He does have, again, the Blink is up and running, so he can try to rip through the softer targets, but really wants that BKB for protection. And for RSG, they're fine with this now. They're taking control of the map. The farm upkeep from Polaris isn't mapping up the way they'd want to. 6k lead now for RSG, but a lot of map control going their way. There is still that big threat of team fight, and you are still seeing Polaris group around here. Not quite popping the smoke and going for play. They don't quite have a smoke on hand, so not going to be able to show off that fresh great pack on Xavius. He is working towards a BKB, and that again gives him a couple of options in these team fights. The only thing to be scared of is a stolen black hole, but we do have enough heroes around to protect. Oh, Xiaoyu.
Top lane. Xiaobonbon, he's fine. Oh, they saw him. They know the Enigma's there. Wait, how do they know? I don't see any vision.
Oh, it's the ward and the ramp. They had a little bit vision. You click that ward, you can see a little vision right on the ramp. And then he must have walked right there.
Here we go. Xiaoyu looking for another. Gonna find him. Oh, you are right. That ramp ward, yeah. Just a very tiny bit of vision and he walked right through it. Top tier 1 tower. MKS gonna take down the tower, but now the blow up is out. Polaris. Bit of a magic trick here from the Radiant. So they get rid of the Bloodseeker. Try and chase down Roger, but he's fine to back off. Instead, they'll try for Xiaoyu on the Sand King, but Soulbind is there. They're actually going to try and force the fight without MKS around, but can they get it done? It doesn't seem like it yet, but Lelouch is going to drop. Immediate buyback up from the Bane, but they've lost Xiaoyu. Still a great team fight here by Polaris. There's Roger on the run. They'll find Xiaobonbon to boot. His Force will keep chasing the Rubik down, but eventually the blink away from Roger is there. But it's going to be a 3-for-1, rather than a 3-for-2 with a buyback forced out from TMV. But they can certainly afford to rush Roshan with this. Buyback out from Xiaobonbon, though. They want to force the fight.
At least threaten to push back Roshan. That does lead to the backing off of Polaris. They know it's a bit of a rough fight inside. They still have Black Hole to threaten with, though, if they want to make a move.
Roger's up again, though, John. You've got to be very wary of this Rubik. He's been very good with stealing these black holes and the Fiend's grips. Inkswell wasted.
Blink backward there. I mean, just double tapping that blink a bit too fast.
Uh-oh, Natsumi in. They see Roger. They'd love to get rid of this Rubik as he does go down. Buyback immediately, though. Natsumi gonna lose his first life. You've got Black Hole from the high ground if you want to commit, but Xavius, he can't get within the range. Midnight Pulse is there. Is he going to Black Hole from the high ground? Not quite. Natsumi's still dropping. MKS, he's alive. Force trying to run out of there, but it's not going to be enough. Force is probably just gone. MKS will keep going. Oh, Xavius, I believe he could have gotten that. He hesitates quite a bit, though. TMB will drop to boot, and John, I do feel like Polaris were waiting for it. I think they were waiting for the Black Hole from the high ground.
Yeah, it would have been a massive opportunity. Maybe you managed to clean up MKS there before having him heal through Thirst, and there's hero kills. Now the threat of Roche is up for Polaris. They have to be careful here.
Yeah, Roger in onto the Tiny. MKS dropping very low now as Force does come in as well, but MKS, he's got Lelouch down, so he heals up a bit. Oh, Black Hole! It's only caught the Rubik! Oh, he's gonna drop to boot! Oh, it's hard to watch that one. Force gonna be hating himself right now for rejoining this team fight. He just bought back. And he's gone right back to the graveyard, it seems like, as they will get him. Exilern able to pick up a double, and now Roshan is completely exposed for the side of RSG.
Yeah, they're not quite in a stable position to take it. MKS is pretty low. Gonna have to clear out a couple of creeps to get that Thirst up. But you managed to hold out on Roshan. You prevent Polaris from taking it, and you managed to force out the Black Hole, force out Solar Guardian. It's a bit awkward now for Polaris. The investment into this Enigma, the panel pointed out, it doesn't feel like the kind of Enigma game where you go for the Black Holes anyway, but it's such a big part of your kit that it does feel like you rely on that control, you rely on that threat, and it's just not showing up. They get the heal up, they go back into the Roshan. Again, no threat of Black Hole makes this tough. They will have Solar Guardian in half a minute, but it's not enough time, and RSG gets to pick up Roche #1. Getting that secondary life up on MKS with a BKB to protect, he is free to just run around here.
Absolutely. Top lane, Xavier's going to be caught out again here on this Enigma. Taken down by Exilern. Very, very hard game for the Enigma. We already kind of said it during the draft, but even once you have that blink up, it's just, you got to catch Roger every single time. It's very, very hard. As they're onto the top tier 2 tower. RSG looking very good now with a 9k net worth advantage. You still might have the better late game scaling here for Polaris with their own draft, but they've got to buy a substantial amount of time here to make that draft kind of work. And even then, it's not guaranteed, because you see in MKS, he's happy to man fight Natsumi. And with the Basher coming out for the Bloodseeker, it's only going to get more challenging for the Wraith King.
And MKS already has a shard anyway, a little bit of lifesteal up when he does pop the Blood Rage. That is a lot of lifesteal, actually, that 2% that you steal away. And just the damage output of MKS is shooting up now at level 17. They do have room to play down bot here for Polaris' end, but of course, Excelern will just push back. Has to travel with the Octarine, spamming the spells out. You're not going to be getting any damage on those towers unless you find that Coddle, and it just goes back to the draft. You don't have the best ways of jumping that Coddle unless you maybe blink Natsumi in first and try to crit down. Smoke out from RSG, looking for more here.
Well, TMB's in the tree line if they want that, but instead RSG heading down south. Even with just 3 heroes, did they see TMB? They haven't. TMV's going to be alright. Meanwhile, back towards the mid-tier 2 tower, Polaris. Hanging around as a team. Looks like they're thinking about going for a smoke here, but no one holding a smoke right now. So it's just going to be about defending the mid-tier 2. Problem is RSG are more than happy to just jump right in onto Natsumi. Inkswell will not land though. The Wraith King going to lose half its HP, but Roger is there with the lift back, trying to force the fight. Nothing coming out yet here from Polaris. They'll let Natsumi walk out of there though. He's fine, at least for now. Nightmare gonna juke out the blood, right? But RSG eventually are gonna find this mid-tier 2 tower for free.
They still have less than 3 minutes left on the Aegis. A lot of time to play with here for MKS to be up front. And for Polaris, I think their best bet is just a defensive fight. They have good high ground hold, they have the threat of Black Hole, maybe a well-placed grip as well from TMV if he finds a position. Although...
Oh, nice lift. Roger is there again. Rupture is out. Natsumi in trouble once again as the blood ride. It's going to be so much damage. Just look at what they're doing to him. Solar Bind and Rupture. It's like, do you want to walk? But can you walk? And then just die.
Yeah. It's not the biggest deal, I guess, right now. Reincarnation is down to its max level, so 60-second cooldown, not the most to wait for. But RSG just poking and prodding every time someone shows up. They have cleared out all outer objectives, have the opportunity to go high ground if they find it. You have to equalize their top and bot lanes to truly get that pressure going. Have a lot of time to get that done. Starting to tick down the Aegis a bit, 1 minute 40 left. But the build-up's there to Coddle's usual.
John, he doesn't have reincarnation right now. He's going to BKB up and try to fight. He's going to back his way out, though, because MKS thinking about chasing, won't go too much further. Meanwhile, Xavius on the side thinking about the black hole, but you don't see Roger. If you can't see the Rubik, there's no black hole to be thrown out.
Yeah, you just can't. And if you look at Roger right now, Mike, he's going for his Ags. So 2 spells to steal, gonna be fun. If you could get Black Hole and Grip at the same time, that would be pretty hilarious. Or, you know, just take Midnight Pulse and Black Hole and just be Enigma yourself. Like, that's all you need in the toolkit for the team fight.
The fun part is, John, if you do take Fiend's Grip and Black Hole, you can Fiend's Grip, let your illusions, because they get the Axe upgrade, you get your illusions to hold the Fiend's Grip, and then you go for a Black Hole anyway. How great's that?
Spicy stuff. Can't wait to see it. If Roger does manage to pick that up in a timely manner. Polaris still doing a good job of holding high ground, right? Like, they're not allowing any progression onto their tier 3s. They're holding on well. They're shoving out the waves with the Eidolons quite nicely. And they're still getting some build-up on the Wraith King. Into the AC next for Natsumi. So you're going to have a little bit more damage. We still haven't seen the max potential of that blink in and burst on the supports or even onto the Coddle. It does feel like that window is kind of closed now for that opportunity to instantly kill off. Excelern here is working onto his Hex next on that Keeper of the Light. Just massively farmed. #1 in net worth. MKS just behind him as well. Would Basher up. You can't just TP in front of the Bloodseeker any longer. Aegis will expire, so that is some bit of good news for Polaris. At the very least, RSG's not going to look to force massively here. Might wait for the next Roshan before they really pierce the high ground, but they are clumping up for an engagement here.
Here we go. Xavius knocked around. It's just such a tough game. That's your Enigma gone for 40. He does have buyback available. He will have to commit more than likely here, though. RSG I highly doubt they back off. They've even got the Eidolons there from Roger just to help out with the push a little bit. And of course, as you're seeing with the Illuminate, you can keep healing them up. That's exactly what they're doing. Natsumi forced to try and deal with this as he does pop his BKB, and the Fiend's Grip is out onto MKS. He does not have an Aegis up. They'll lose the Bloodseeker. A great fight so far for Polaris as RSG now forced to try and back away, but never mind, they're going right back in. They want the fight. Fiend's Grip taken. Roger, how does he get away with Fiend's Grip like that? Still, they'll stun him up. Solar Guardian out. They're going to blow up Roger. Another great pick off here by Polaris as they have brought back on the Bloodseeker. Onto Natsumi they go. Or even Roger going to buy back and come into the fray. Is MKS going to get to work onto Natsumi, but Xavius has the black hole, but it never comes out. He gets taken down immediately. MKS, he'll go for more. Toss back on from Lelouch. They really want the Bloodseeker a second time, and they've got him. Nice toss out by Lelouch. Saving the day and saving for Polaris from having to lose a Rax down bot. But look at RSG. What are they up to here, Jonathan?
Yeah, they saw the commitment out from Polaris. They get the dieback in their Bloodseeker. They want to get some diebacks of their own on Polaris's end. And try to look for that pickoff if someone overextends in the creep wave, and could find that opportunity here if they're careful.
Xiao Yu misses the Burrow Strike. Now Polaris, they can certainly punish. Dust is out. Xiao Yu out of range. There is a slight bit of a hesitation here from Polaris. Just still not underestimating what RSG have with their own draft and the fact that they are still 15k ahead. In fact, the net worth is basically all the way of Exilone anyway. He has a 5k advantage over his own Bloodseeker, so I suppose even without MKS around, you really can't underestimate how much damage this Coddle can pump out.
Yeah, he does it a lot, and then that's him without the Hex yet. Should have the goal to finish that up soon. He's going to have some great control as well if he does manage to get the jump once the BKBs fade down. Inside of Polaris, unfortunately for them, there's no opportunity for Roshan, so they're just going to be sitting a while, 20 seconds away until we see the timer. Even then, you're going to have to deal with MKS respawning at that point. Fighting in the pit can be back and forth. You do have the Black Hole threat. We mentioned that last time here, Mike. Didn't really come through from Xavius. He is inching towards his BKB, so once you have that, maybe you feel a little bit more protected. Again, Rubik's still your big issue here for the Enigma. And RSG are happy enough to just hold on. Quick Roche timer though, 30 seconds away, but MKS back up. RSG could look for a pickoff into the Roche and into that high ground.
Absolutely. Polaris not out of this game yet. Again, they've just got to keep buying time for Natsumi to keep that farm going. RSG. What I'm most excited about is this Ags on Roger. As stupid as it sounds, John, it's just so rare we get to cast a Rubik with Aghanim Scepter up, especially a POS 5 Rubik of all things, and I just can't wait to see what he can get done with it, if anything.
Yeah, I think the possibility that you mentioned, Fiend's Grip with Black Hole, Mike, that gets me really excited. So I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Roger get something. Unfortunately, you don't have, say, a Pango roll with Black Hole, because that would be hilarious, right? Because you can channel spells, but you don't have that here. Still, gonna be a good time once that's up. And, well, 2,000 gold away. RSG, Roche is back up. Both sides do have good boards watching. See who does commit first. Big objective for both of them. Again, Polaris with a buyback committal will want it, and for RSG, they need that secondary life for MKS because he just died back as well.
He certainly did. RSG very patient right now, but Polaris, they're basically in the same position. Everyone's waiting for Roshan, but nobody wants to be under vision of the enemy team. Very, very cautious here. Roshan is available, of course. Shards and Aegis is up, so second Roshan of the game for either of these teams. Obviously, much more important for Polaris to be able to snipe this Roshan, considering that, they are 15k behind. And if they did manage to get, say, an Aegis up, suddenly they might have even more time to get that farm going on Natsumi. And John, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you look at Natsumi, his skeletons are stuck on the cliff right now, and they're just running. Just doing the running man.
Yeah, unfortunate. Can't farm. And that actually cuts off a lot of his gold, to be fair. It's hilarious, but it's also kind of sad, summoning your skeletons right there. So you're cutting off that build-up, still kind of stuck trying to get into the AC. At least has the Hyperstone up. But RSG are smoking out, looking to make that play. They're going to have to pierce that high ground triangle. See if they find the angle here.
Here we go. Smoke out, RSG. Look for that big initiation. They always love starting onto Xavius. Let's get that Wraith Pack gone. Get the threat of the black hole out of here. So Polaris, they are going to be fighting under vision if it is within this Radiant Triangle, and that's why they keep hugging that area. You look where RSG are now, John, they've got their own vision on that cliff. So both teams obviously understanding the importance of having that vision available. So important to try and burst down the supports of either side as they just have such impactful spells to throw out this game. You'd hate to make matters worse for Polaris, John, but now a Scythe of Vice coming out for Exilern.
Yep, fully farmed up. Has a good hold to kind of use in these team fights. Have to watch your BKB use really well here as they'll just get started in Roche. Lift MKS in, don't walk under the vision, and start to sneakily chip away. Polaris should know something's up, but they're not making their way over there, and this is a fairly quick Roche for the damage output on MKS here.
No, Roshan, not going to take too long. MKS really getting to work, and Polaris, again, they're the ones that need to try and intervene. It doesn't seem like they will, though. They know about this, I'm sure. There is an observer that should have seen them running in. But RSG, they're going to get away with this for free. Polaris, I suppose now you're kind of hoping for a great high ground defense to come. But you lose that high ground defense, suddenly things become very, very tough here as Polaris. So we'll see if it does work out. And as you can see, John, RSG already starting to group up down the bot lane. Just using the recall here from Exilern to get everyone in. And eventually they'll just go for the push. In fact, they might even just wait out Roger to have the Ags up first.
Yeah, it's almost there. Making great use of that Philosopher's Stone as well. And just 500 gold away. Have to say, that entire rush was really just enabled by Roger's lift into the pit. They didn't walk by the ward. So Polaris were actually pretty unaware. I don't think they saw the particle effects either. And Xiao Yu managed to find an angle through the top area right outside ward range at nighttime. So it's just probably the weirdest sneaky Roche you could see from RSG. Again, just using that Rubik shard really well. Tossing MKS, and it's like, Roger's like, I'm done. Just get Roche done, please. I'm bored. You know, hit the objective. Polaris, like yeah, they're still kind of... They still have good high ground hold. Again, threat of black hole is always present, but Xavius has been very cautious. Does have the BKB, but still needs to worry about that Rubik, and just catching Roger out just doesn't seem feasible. He's been standing way far back with that Rubik, just waiting for the opportunity to come in, which means the Enigma also has to wait. Basically kind of turns it into a 4v4 almost. And you already have more protection up for MKS as well. Full Linken's up, holding him down with grips, a little bit tougher.
Still, they are getting close now. Xiao Yu is in. Burrow strike out. Natsumi does get caught, but still maybe baiting for his team right now as the epicenter and Soulbind does get committed. They're going to lose the first life. How are you going to fight this now? Natsumi, he's popped his BKB. Rupture is going to hold him down, though. He goes for the man fight instead, waiting for his team. Is now the Fiend's Grip. Is out Xiao Yu. Is still fighting. In fact, that was the Nightmare. They still have Fiend's Grip. They'll throw it now, but it's all too late. Natsumi's gone. He doesn't have buyback. Where? In fact, it's 15 seconds away. It won't matter. He will buy back in 15.
He'll have it, but we've got our wish here, Mike. Roger, when he Ags us up, doubled spell steal at the ready. No buyback in the veins, the bigger issue. And doesn't even have grip to play with anymore. So RSG have an opening.
You jump in again, hold down the Enigma, and well, Xavius, he's having a very rough time. Only 2-10 and 7 on the Enigma, and I hate to say it, John, but we haven't seen one good black hole yet.
Yeah, it's just not coming out. It's just the toughest game for the Enigma. Lots of ways to hold back here on RSG, and they've been very disciplined with their positioning as well. So no clean openings. But the Age is still up on MKS. Lanes of racks are just going to melt. RSG in a very good position now to look for that endgame here.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair to Xavius, I mean, we've kind of said it about 20 times this game, but it's an impossible Enigma game to play. So you're not kind of surprised that the black holes are just not working out, but you kind of ask yourself, like, why leave heroes like the Rubik and things like that to be able to kind of counter out this Enigma if you are going to take it? Maybe it's not really about the Enigma black holes, but such a big ability to not be able to use as now they make the jump in with the Tiny. Xiao Yu is there, side the Vice out, holding him down, and Lelouch is gone. It's so hard against the Coddle now as well with Scythe Device up, right? Because he could just cast that thing from a mile away. You look at the range on that Scythe Device, it's just huge.
Yep. Psychic Headband along with the Octarine. You're going to be having a happy time from casting a mile away. And, you know, Roger's had the eggs. I want to see something big. He hasn't found anything big to cast because everyone from Polaris dies too quick.
Yeah, they don't cast anything, John. He actually stole Tree Toss, or Tree Grab rather. Look at that. Here we go, Zhao Yu. Gonna get caught out, but is fine. Instead, MKS the one to get caught, but does have the Aegis up. In fact, he's not even dying yet. He is dropping low though. They'll find the first time. Sforce into the backside, right onto Roger, who's trying to survive through it. So MKS, the one to focus on. It's the Bloodseeker, now forced to man up and fight back against Natsumi. Is actually healing up throughout all this. Natsumi, he's the one in danger and does get taken down. The Stroke of Fate snipes him, or rather snipes him. His force has dropped on the Dawnbreaker. And RSG now. Well, they'll go for the final lane of barracks as they jump in again. Zhao Yu right onto the Bane. Solar Guardian, it's going to save for now, but for how long? Force committed a buyback for that. Rupture out again with the Blinding Light, and Lelouch already down to less than half HP. So he's going to back out, but it seems like RSG, they might play this one safe. They don't have an Aegis, and they are lacking quite a bit of spells. They may just go for a reset first.
They're already pretty healed up just from the Illuminate spam coming through from XLR, and they don't quite have a clean creep wave though. Mid has been shoved away, top still incoming. They're gonna have to wait for some creeps to open up the back door, although.
Xavius caught again with the Burrow Strike from Zhao Yu into the Blood Right. They are just sniping him from a mile away. Even the Stroke of Fate landing. Lift him back, take him out. He has buyback. He's got to blink up with the BKB, John. The problem is BKB's on cooldown now.
Yeah, don't have that opportunity
MKS.
to try and make that play.
No toss back. Lelouch. He blinked him, but he didn't have a toss target. Epicenter's there, but he will pop his own BKB. That did force the buyback out from Xavius, but he doesn't find anything with it. More hills to come through here from their Coddle. Is MKS. Back into the bot racks he goes. Zhao Yu initiating once again as Natsumi does force the fight now with the blink in and BKB, but a nice lift away from Roger into the Rupture onto Natsumi, but he's still fine. He'll still keep fighting, but here comes MKS now, taking him down for the first life. Xavier's trying to move him for a black hole, won't throw it out yet. The Scythe Device again protecting, not allowing the Enigma to do anything. Now the Will-O-Wisp will be dropped down. Zhao Yu jumping in, and there's your double Fiends rip out from Roger. Xavius gets a black hole, but it's only onto the Rubik. It's only on the Rubik, and now Roger's got it. He won't even throw it out yet. He's Maleficent. As well, I think it's time to call it.
Yeah,
GG.
they do. They do. I mean, we didn't get to see Roger do the black. He did cast it, Mike. He did get Maleficent, though, so didn't manage to really show off. But that double grip was beautiful in the end, and RSG do manage to get that build-up they want. It did look pretty all right for Polaris early on. You know, they were finding some of those early fights. They were getting space out for Natsumi, but they didn't manage to secure the kind of lead they want. And you can see how happy RSG are, securing an additional win for themselves, keeping themselves up here in the top rankings of Div 1 for 2 or 3. Polaris, they had some ideas, but they open up with that Enigma. It was a tough game for Xavier. Sure, it's something he loves to play. He loves playing these greedy fours with high impact team fight spells. But leaving the Rubik axis there and, you know, allowing RSG to play this really fast-paced game while farming up in your 4 and 1, it didn't feel like the times were lining up, and RSG just knew how to play around that.
Well, with that, John, of course, we are going to have a post-game panel and an interview to come out, and hopefully we get that cutie Zhao Yu to join us, John. Very kawaii Zhao Yu is. Still, after that post-game analysis, Jonathan, we've got T1 versus SMG coming right up for a very spicy way to end the night. But before that, we are going to head off to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with our lovely panel for that post-game analysis. We'll see you then.
Congratulations, RSG, taking this series, taking game number 3 there. They looked absolutely fantastic. I know you guys were pretty impressed with how they ended up going with the laning phase this time. A few change-ups, and it was kind of all for them. The game was always in their control, always in their hands from that.
I want to give a quick despair to Polaris.
Yeah.
Who have lost their fourth? Is that their fourth series?
Okay, we will. I was going to talk about it later.
So just a quick F, and now carry on.
Yeah, we'll put Fs in chat later. For now, we are going to break down this game, though. Yeah, for you guys, that cuddle mid.
Crushed it. That was kind of the big thing of the draft. Is I think there were a lot of bans on mid lanes towards the end, and then RSG's just like, this is tiny core, and there's nothing about. There's nothing to jump this Cuddle or make Cuddle's game hard. Like if you get to this point later on in the draft and there's no answers to Cuddle core, it just feels so good to play this hero mid against hero, particularly when you can kite the enemy cores. And Wraith King,
that black hole, by the way, funniest thing ever.
This was. This was not a fun game for Enigma.
No, it definitely wasn't. You guys said, you were waiting for that moment where Polaris could potentially get the jump on RSG. There was a little bit of that moment when there was a high ground push, and it felt like the tides may have potentially turned in favor of Polaris. Was there a way for them to capitalize on it, or it was just way too in RSG's favor for them to really do anything at that point?
Just consistently throughout this game, they should have just been playing more on wards. Like, set up a high ground ward and play on it. I think that was like one of the reasons the Spirit won TI, or like a massive reason. Like throughout TI, everyone was just praising them. Their warding game was amazing. The way they played on wards was amazing. Like, teams should have learned from this after TI. And like, this is a game where it's so important for Polaris. You need to see the enemy. You need to be getting black holes off. Like, I think this Enigma gameplay, not to flame like too hard, but it was like pretty unacceptable. Like, he just didn't black hole the whole game.
Yeah.
He's just so scared. Like, if you're scared of black holing, play around vision. Like, you need to like figure out the like solutions to your problems.
Yeah. And this was a game where both teams didn't really have any save until Rubik got that shard, where whoever got the jump had the advantage. Often you'll play games where one draft is designed to be defensive, get jumped on, and then they turn it around with either big team fight or, like the ABBA type shields and saves. No, neither team had any saves. And we saw that bite RSG in the ass a couple of times. Like, Bloodseeker would be frontlining, and he'd just suddenly get blown up without getting his BKB off. There was, a point in the game where I was looking at this Rubik. He had like 2.5k gold towards his Aghanim Scepter. He had the point booster already. He's like, yeah, I'm 500 gold away. And I'm pretty sure his Bloodseeker freaking turned to him and yelled. He was like, dude, I need an axe shard. Like, what's going on here? Like, I get jumped, I get stunned. You need to save me, man. And then he finally died, bolt back, and then he was like, okay, I'll buy the shard. I'll get the Ag Scepter later. I don't think RSG played this game particularly smoothly or cleanly, but they had such a good draft, and I think excellent call. I mean, that's where we started the discussion. He carried like hell in that call.
That's true. It was insane. It was so hard for them to deal with. Like, Wraith King would just get like poked and prodded at, just like until he died, and then when he comes back with BKB, he's just getting like hit with bashers and all this stuff. Like, they even had a Hex. Oh, it was so hard to play for sure.
It was definitely well done by RSG. You outlined that you really enjoyed their draft, which is lucky because for the winners interview, we do actually have their coach joining us. It is going to be Ohio joining us for this one. Hopefully, interview. Hopefully. Yes, it is. Hello, Ohio. How are you?
Hello. I'm good.
That's good. I already forgot my first question. Hello, we can't hear you. Can you hear us? There is massive issues.
Your mic issues got some.
That is okay. That's all right. Yeah. We'll see if we can fix that one. If we can't, then that's going to be very, very unfortunate, because I wanted to know, and maybe I can ask you guys throughout this series, what do you think was the big change-up that happened between them losing game 2 and them winning game 3? Now, I'm going to pretend that you guys are RSG's coach now.
I'm RSG's coach.
Yeah.
I sat them down and I told them, I said, my boys, you were so good at Dota 2. Just recapture the essence of game 1 and play better.
I don't think that's what Ohio sounds like.
No, that's exactly it. That is so spot on, bro. That's so spot on. My sons.
As I have many of you.
Yeah.
I am proud of each and every one of you. You may have extra soup tonight if you win this series.
Wow. That's a motivator and a half, for sure.
That would make me play better.
Would it? Yeah, maybe. We also saw the stats, right? We saw those stats flicking through. I know you briefly mentioned it, but is there a standout player for you guys on RSG for this series? Not just game 3.
Oh,
it's tough because it felt like RSG were kind of.
What was game 1?
Oh,
that was a long time ago.
That was when
it was Warlock,
Who
Tiny
game
Puck,
1?
Darkseer, and Nyx.
I think Zhao Yu was like MVP as hell for game 1. Game 2, obviously they lost, so all of them sucked, and I won't give a single good word about them.
You said Excellent played well in game 2. His puck.
Yeah, I mean,
praised him.
Excellent was good in games 2 and 3. It's hard because
It's
I think the Darkseid trumps everything.
Okay.
It was
You have a little bit of a bias towards heroes, but you know, it's fine. You don't actually have to pick one. Unfortunately, we are not going to get that interview. Hopefully, there is another win in the future for RSG in which we can talk to them and get some more information from them and their coach. But instead, we will give you guys the Division 1 standings so you can see where we are placing these teams now. It is what Sheep brought up before. Unfortunately, Polaris down there 0-4. That's a big F in chat.
Bummer.
Yeah, looks like they are most likely, almost definitely guaranteed to be relegated.
I can still roleplay as
Maybe.
Ohio if you want to finish the interview.
Oh, okay. Okay. The other question I was going to say is
My
why
eyes are rolling back.
why do you think you lost game 2? What was so wrong with that draft?
Unfortunately, we had a cat in the facility. He was running across the keyboards during important team fights and was causing a lot of misspells.
Okay, so it wasn't the draft though.
It wasn't. No, actually,
No issue
everyone
with the
played
draft.
really well. The
It's just the
draft was
cat.
flawless. It was the cat.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully there's no issues with that for any other team. So thanks for standing in for a great stand-in interview there,
Good
Sheep.
insight.
That series is going to be the conclusion of our first series of the day. We still have a second series coming up, so please don't go anywhere too far as we have so much more action ahead.